As cases of gender-based violence continue to rise, more digital solutions are being sought. Non-profit Silicon Cape and the U.S. Embassy have turned to technology to find solutions to prevent and combat gender-based violence. To unpack the story further, I'm joined now by software engineer Thomas Fihla. Thomas, good evening and thank you so much for your time tonight. How is it all going to work?
Good evening, Sibongile. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, and you?
I'm good. Yes, the name of the app is called OP, which is a gender-based violence app that we are planning to use to minimize threat of gender-based violence. So the way it is designed and we are planning to make it work is that a user creates a group of circles that they regard as trustees, and they can add anyone they can trust to respond. And those people, whenever the user presses the power button when the phone is on sleep mode, but it's on lock mode, when they press the power button 4 times, it triggers and sends them an emergency alert message that they are under threat. So basically, that is a brief description of what the app does.
And does one need to unlock their phones for it to work?
No, it can operate in home screen mode, it can operate in sleep mode, because if you press your power button 4 times, you are able to activate and trigger the app itself. That is the good thing about it, is that you don't need to unlock your phone. You just press the power button 4 times when you have it in your phone, then automatically it will trigger the sensors and the reactions.
And does it only trigger the reaction of the trustees, or is it linked to law enforcement agencies as well?
Well, currently we have not linked it to law enforcement agencies, because as you understand, there is a policy and regulation and procedures for us to do that. And it's not going to be an easy short-term road for us to connect to the back-end system of the enforcement agencies. But that is something we'd like to do in the future, because we really need first responders on the platform.
And let's talk about the name, OP. What gave birth to it?
Yes, the name OP, it's a Xhosa word for where are you, or where is he, or where is she. But if you look at the question itself, like it says something like that checks up with you. So that is why we use the name OP, because we want to check up with you, not only you physically but emotionally. That is why it is good for the app to use even in your emotional state. Where is your emotional state? So that is where the motivation of the name came from.
And I mean, Thomas, there's always a story behind, every invention. There's always something that really prompted someone to do something. What made you decide on this particular app?
Well, gender-based violence is something that we are concerned with as South Africans at large. But when you grow up, or when you are in an isolated stage, there is a space and there is a gap in your heart that you feel like you can do something. When you are young, you feel like you are a kid, but you feel like you are powerless to do something. Then you feel like it is time to do something. And the other reason is that we decided to pursue it as our first priority, because as much attention is not given to it, gender-based violence is also a pandemic as COVID-19, but it is not given that much attention and reaction. But to us, it is still the same pandemic. That is why we decided, let us build this solution and get it out there, because it is rising every day. The cases, the threats, the reports, the victims, it is rising every day. And if no one is doing anything about it, we will end up not having a country, not having a future, not having young people, not having children, not having women, not having mothers and sisters. So that is why we decided to do it.
And how available is it to people? How easily accessible is it, particularly when you look at people in rural areas who sometimes do not have access to such services?
Yes, currently right now it is being tested on an Android platform. It will be long before we are launching it on iOS, but it is good to use in a low entry phone. Any smartphone, any low entry platform that is using Android service can be able to access it. And we are also planning to communicate with network providers so that they can provide free service or free data service or free mode for it, so that it can be used as an emergency essential. And we believe that way it will be able to be used by people in rural areas and in low connection or no connection zones. But we are also exploring a way of trying to make it to work in free mode even within ourselves in short range. So we are still testing such features, but the one that we are ready to release is using data. So we are planning to communicate with the network providers to make it free dataless app, so that they can be able to be used without users having connectivity to internet or having to load data bundles.
All right. Thank you so much for your time tonight. That's Thomas Fihla, who is a software engineer, and just telling us about this app called OP. And this is an app that really is looking at adding in fact, to the fight against gender-based violence.